Welcome to my new feature, this is Sunday Tips. So from now on a Sunday, I'm going to help you guys out with a little tip that I've learned from my 7 years of production, and hopefully it helps. Today we're going to do 5 tips to get a better sounding mix. Number 1, speaker placement. It's an absolute cardinal sin when I see people putting their speakers on their desk, just straight on the desk. It's absolutely f***ing crazy. A two-way monitor is designed to be listened to at a certain height with the tweeter and the mid-range driver at your ear level, give or take maybe half an inch or an inch. So when you see people with their speakers on their desk, pointing straight into their chest, you're never going to be able to hear what the speakers are doing properly. One quick way of telling is just slide down your chair and it's going to open up a whole new world for you. Number 2, acoustic treatment. It's really important to treat your room. When you're producing without treatment, it's quite hard to hear unwanted artifacts because you've got sound bouncing around, and with the treatment you can actually hear what's going on. So if you want a professional sounding result, or you want a result that sounds like a legitimate song, then treat your room and you're going to get a much cleaner sounding mix at the end of it. Number 3, smashing limiters. There's loads of people that come into my studio and show me a really well written song and they've produced it, and to get it to a level that's commercially acceptable, they've just banged a limiter on and smashed it as hard as they can take it. The big problem with this is that you lose all the dynamics in the song and it crushes the sound, and that is not something you want. Which brings me on to my 4th point, gain staging. Gain staging is a really simple process. It's basically using multiple plugins or hardware to add incremental pieces of volume rather than having one limiter and pushing it really hard. Every plugin is designed with a sweet spot, where you get all the characteristics and the tone that the plugin was built to provide. I personally like to do this by adding and bouncing every single time, just because it makes me more definitive about the decisions I make in the mix. You'll be amazed at when you gain stage something properly, how much cleaner it sounds overall and how much more loudness you have, rather than just pushing a limiter really hard with one plugin. On to the last point, number 5, low end. Most people watching are probably producing some form of electronic genre, and low end is the pivotal part of that song. Dance music, for instance, is designed to be played in nightclubs with massive low end systems. So getting your kick and bass to work together is really important. If I produce a song that's not bassline orientated and it's more lead line orientated, when I finish the production, what I'll do is I'll mute everything in the top range of the frequency spectrum, I'll go back down to the bottom, and I'll work on the kick and bass to make sure those two work in complete unison, because once they do, you're providing a really good building block to go upwards from. So that's my Sunday tip for 5 ways to get a better mix. I hope you enjoyed it, and feel free to DM me any questions and I'll try and answer them in the coming weeks. Peace out!